What if the place you called home wasn't built yesterday? What if it carried the weight of stories in its walls, the kind of stories whispered between floorboards or stitched into the seams of old leather chairs? This isn't just a house. It's a memory brought back to life. A rusted hinge creaks open. The scent of sun-warmed pine slips through the air. Somewhere, faintly, a child's laugh drifts by, as if time never moved on. And maybe in places like this, it didn't. They used to call it a barn, just beams and boards, built to shelter workhorses and hay. But someone saw more, saw past the dust, past the quiet, into something beautiful waiting underneath. Like a letter you forgot you wrote to your future self, sealed in the softness of old timber and the hush of early morning light. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it's a simple way to show your love for these incredible designs. Tonight, that letter opens, and what's inside? A story about love, of land, of legacy, of letting old bones breathe again. This is a home where the past doesn't fade, it lingers. And if you listen closely, it just might speak to you too. Because some places don't age, they remember. They say time slows down in places like this, where silence hums low and steady, like a lullaby you forgot you knew. The air is thick with memory, soft and golden, like light filtered through linen. Dust floats in the rafters, lazy and unhurried, as if the years themselves have chosen to rest here a while. This was once just a hayloft. Rough beams, cold mornings, the scent of straw and soil. But now, it's something else, something more. The bones are the same, but the soul, reimagined. We call them barndominiums now, barns that have been reborn, not just into homes, but into living poetry, a conversation between the old world and the new, between purpose and beauty. And if you listen closely, every creak, every echo underfoot, it's still speaking. This isn't about nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. It's about transformation, about honoring what stood before while making room for what can be. So stay with me. We share new content regularly to help you create spaces you love, so don't forget to subscribe. Because just ahead, down a hallway framed in weathered cedar and light, there's a moment waiting to happen. A moment where iron kisses memory and timber learns to sing. It began with hands, rough, calloused, steady. In 1925, men and women raised these walls with more sweat than certainty. Hammer met beam, laughter met labor, and somewhere between it all, something sacred settled into the wood. These weren't just barns. They were lifelines. They sheltered more than animals. They held warmth through brutal winters. They echoed with the stomp of boots at harvest dances, and on quiet nights they cradled the secrets, like the hush of a midnight proposal beneath the hayloft, where the only witnesses were stars and sawdust. Every nail still remembers. Every board holds breath. Not in some romantic, polished way, but in the gritty, lived-in truth of what it meant to build something that mattered, to build something to last. Now we look at these same bones and wonder, what if we asked them to hold something new? Can walls that once kept horses warm now cradle our children, our ideas, our modern lives filled with glowing screens and ceramic stovetops? Can something born from sweat and silence become the canvas for 21st century dreams? That's the question we're chasing, and maybe, just maybe, the answer's already in the wood. Step inside, and the world quiets. If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support means to me, and it helps keep the design ideas coming your way. Reclaimed sliding doors roll back with a satisfying weight. Old wood, new purpose. You're greeted by warmth, not just from the golden hum of Edison bulbs overhead, but from the space itself. It breathes. Open, honest, alive. Your feet find honey-warm pine underfoot, each plank with its own scars, each groove retelling decades spent on the floor of a forgotten rail depot. There's nothing generic here. Every corner was chosen, every imperfection embraced. Wrought iron stair rails curl like calligraphy, cold to the touch, but sculpted with care. Old-world strength meeting delicate artistry. The walls whisper of past lives, not in decoration, but in texture, in weight. And just when you think you've seen it all, pause, look closer. To the left of the fireplace, under a vintage sconce glowing low, there's a hinge, almost invisible, tucked in plain sight. The kind of detail that doesn't shout but waits, patient, knowing. It leads somewhere. Maybe to a hidden reading nook. Maybe to something more mysterious. But not yet. Because homes like this don't show you everything at once. They reveal themselves. Only when you're ready to listen. If you love this type of look, hit that subscribe button to help us create more videos, and let us know in the comments what you'd love to see in future videos. There's something about the kitchen that doesn't try to impress. It just welcomes you. A cast iron skillet sizzles quietly on the stove, releasing the scent of butter and browned cornbread into the air. It's the kind of smell that doesn't just make you hungry, it makes you homesick for something you forgot you lost. The soft pop and hiss of a vinyl record floats in from the next room, mixing with the clink of ceramic mugs and quiet conversation. No speakers, no algorithms, just needle and groove and soul. Everything here feels touched, not curated, not staged, just lived in. The cabinets creak in the best way. The counters are smooth from decades of hands. A teapot whistles like it's done it every morning since 1942. This isn't just decor, it's time travel you can taste. And as you settle in, the owner leans in, eyes gleaming with something unspoken. There's one last piece of the home still waiting, one space they haven't touched yet. Not out of neglect, but reverence. A place too full of history to rush. They smile, barely. "It's almost ready," they whisper. And you know, deep down, whatever it is, it could change everything. Twilight settles like a hush across the loft. The air shifts. Cooler now, quieter. Shadows stretch along the beams, long and reaching, as if the day itself is reluctant to leave. There's a sense of something, waiting, not unfinished, but undiscovered. The loft creaks beneath each step, not in protest, but in memory, as though it remembers every footfall that's ever passed through. And there, across the room, tucked into the far corner, is a window, boarded from the inside. Why? Why would the architect, so deliberate in every detail, seal off a window that once opened to morning light? Was it to keep something in or out? And just beside it, leaning against the wall, rolled up blueprints, edges worn, corners curled. They're half unfurled, just enough to tease. You can make out a shape, a room that doesn't appear on the main floor plan. A gap, a secret. Then the cedar chest. Heavy, locked. No key in sight. Its surface smooth from decades of dust and touch, but untouched by time. Everything about this place invites comfort. But now, curiosity stirs. There's a story still hiding here. And if we open the right door, we might not come out the same. The chest groans open, the sound like breath after holding silence for too long. Inside, simple things. A rusted key, cool in the hand, and a letter, its paper yellowed, edges soft with time. Dated 1973. The ink is faded, but the words speak clearly. A sanctuary for dreamers, it says. A place where stories are safe, where the old becomes new, where wonder lives in the walls. And then, the twist that changes everything. the owner we've followed, the one gently restoring every beam, every room. They're not just a caretaker, they're family, the grandchild of the letter's author.